Homework assignment, go.
Oh, that was easy. Trivial.
Everybody do it?
Stop washing feet, though. Yeah. What's the distraction?
I was telling some people in my last class. Actually, there's two things I need to show you. First thing, let me tell you. So there was this big golf tournament on this weekend called the Accenture Match Play. It's one of the only PGA events each year where it's match play instead of stroke play. So the players play against each other one-on-one, and then the winner moves on, the loser goes home. So it's kind of interesting. Well, in the finals yesterday, it was Jason Day, good player from Australia, playing against this like nobody. I guess he was one of the top amateurs, 3 or 4 years ago or something, but hasn't made any impact on the Pro Tour. Well, this guy gets to the finals, and Jason Day was up big, like 3 up with 3 to go. Well, this guy won the last 3 holes to tie it. Then they go into extra holes. This guy, Jason Day, put a shot to like 6 feet. This guy hit his, because this is in Arizona, so there's desert golf. This guy hit his ball to the right of the green into a cactus. Okay, no, in a cactus. Guy walks, I mean, so you're thinking he's dead, right? They're already talking about how Jason Day, this is a big win for him, blah, blah, blah. Guy walks up, takes one look at it, steps back, and just takes a swipe. Puts it to 2 feet. Makes the putt. Jason Day now has a pressure putt. He's got to make the 6-footer to keep the match going when he thought he was going to have an easy win. He makes it. Go on to the next hole. Next hole, Jason Day puts it to like 10 feet. Okay, another pretty good shot. The other guy hits it way left into the desert. It's wedged underneath a dead branch. Okay, so he's in like a gravelly sand with cactuses all around him, and the ball is smushed between, like into the sand with a dead branch on top of it. But it's like by a tree, okay, or by a cactus-like tree or whatever. So he goes up, again, all casually, just looks at it, steps back, just takes this big old cut. They show this in slow motion. He probably hit 6 pieces of wood, branches, and things like that before he even got to the ball. Puts it to 4 feet. makes the putt. So now the chances of, you could take an entire bucket of balls out to either of those places and try to pull off the shots he pulled. Like a pro could hit 100 shots from each of those 2 positions and not do as well as this guy did. And he did back-to-back holes to keep him. This is for $1.5 million. So finally his luck ran out, because on the next hole, he missed the green, but he wasn't in a cactus. He was just in the rough. He was. He couldn't.
Dumped it twice.
Shanked into the crowd. Hit it out of a guy's pair of underwear. To 2 feet, made the putt. The other guy ended up, Jason Day ended up finally winning, so I think the right guy won, but it was pretty entertaining there towards the end as you're seeing this dude hit these impossible shots out of... Most people would take a swing at either of those and not hit the ball.
Or snap clubs.
Or whatever. And it's not like he flew it under the green. Like he hit it like with a hosel, like a baseball swing. And I gotta look this up. You guys have to see this.
Yeah, listening, I was Jason Ducker was tweeting about.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Might even be able to come up to the, let's see, golf cactus. Trying to think of the guy's name. Yeah, here's this is one of his. He converts an unbelievable shot in extra holes. Okay, let's. Oh, everybody relax.
You can't see it. From cactus. Yeah. Jeez,
Today's actually pretty great.
What about chemistry?
What about art?
Puppies!
It's pretty great.
The redesigned
It was really funny too because you have Faraday, who's one of the announcers, is an Irish guy or Scottish. Come up, it looks like it's under that
We're
dead
back, and
branch.
I don't know how in the world Dupuisan is going to play this shot over the green on the 19th hole of this match.
This is the guy in the red
gonna
pants
play
up
it.
here.
Drop it. Pick
Very
it.
carefully. That's a teddy bear Choya, and
Teddy bear
it'll throw
choice.
stuff all over him. He's sitting down. I mean, he has to play it. It's a situation where you might take an unplayable.
This is a
under
teddy
other
bear choya.
circumstances.
So this is no picnic then, eh?
He puts us at 2 feet.
We might better bounce it and just go for luck.
Yeah, you have to.
I would put my waterproof
Well, it is
on.
just like wrapped and stuff.
You take an unplayable here, which where you'd have to drop it anyway. Oh, he just went out and hit it.
Oh, are you? What?
What? Oh my goodness! What a shot! Golden hands.
Yeah, that's it. I've seen it all. I mean, if Arnold Palmer rode by on a scooter,
He didn't waste any time. He
Just looked at it as a win.
Oh, even hit the cable, everything. Hit a rock. How in the world did that ball hit a rock and then pop up to slow it down? I mean, that's a miracle shot. It really is. Just his club catches a cable, but watch the ball. Yeah, it hits the dirt. Pops up. And it's no gimme still for Victor, even though he made it look like it was such on the 18th
So this is the
hole from
continue the
similar
match.
length. One of the greatest up and downs. Really,
that
seriously.
is-
V de Bush is his Twitter handle. How about that? Now he's made that a teddy bear choya even
Alright,
more
so we gotta
famous
find the other one.
it's ever been.
Is this the second one?
He's just going to climb in there and play it. I'm really sure.
Here's the next hole.
Is attached. We think it's not, and
he is surprising.
yeah.
I mean, to say the least.
He's done it again. Golden hands. Here we go. Oh my
This is
goodness.
absolutely bizarre.
I give up.
Look at Jason Day. He cannot believe it. What is this man doing?
Jason's actually smiling and giving him props for that.
We just saw his face. He's looking. He go, "What the?"
Is his middle name Houdini?
It's gonna be that. It's
Skips
gonna
it
be
through
the
the
bush.
rough.
His middle. Victor de Bush.
Look at that.
Look at this. Just
He's
look
hitting
at
all
it.
these branches.
How many odds?
Day watching.
Look at that.
Absolute head shaker again.
This guy's
Season
probably
one
thinking
golf.
about how he's gonna
Well,
use his prize
that
money.
is in Victor's hands.
Make it. We move on. Miss Jason Day takes the title.
There we go.
Well, didn't you say his father had the golden hands of the basketball player? My
That
goodness.
was his uncle.
His uncle. Well, it's in the family. Great hands.
Now, maybe the funniest part about that is yesterday. So this is match play. So yesterday was the semifinals. So in the morning, around 8 a.m., I watched the semifinal matches, which was Jason Day versus Ricky Fowler and this guy versus Ernie Els. So they played 18 holes or however long it took. So that's 4 or 5 hours, 5 hours. Then there was an hour off. Then the winners played each other and the losers played each other in the consolation. So I've been watching golf for like 10 straight hours, 11 straight hours when this stuff starts happening. You know? It was a good day. That and Hearthstone all day. That's all. That was my Sunday.
I was doing all this freaking programming on Sunday.
I even skipped church.
What about rating spec stocks? Come on.
No, I intended on doing that until this started going down.
Is that church statement the Christian worldview?
Yeah, my wife still went.
Okay. The opposite.
That is a Christian worldview thing. Apparently, I think that the husband, I'm in charge of my wife's Christian faith or something. There's like somewhere in there it says that I'm like in charge of her.
In charge of her.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think something with like her faith. You know, something with her Christian faith. I think like the head of the household or whatever. So I still sent her ahead to be a placeholder for me. Christian worldview. There you go. All right. So let's talk about this assignment. So your job was to do something similar to this, but without using string tokenizer, right? That is, you're supposed to be able to process the input without using the individual things, but still match all the tokens. Correct? How'd you go about doing this? So here's our string. We want to match all of these guys, right? So I'll put this in a little comment up here. All right. What are our suggestions?
I'm using more oars than a pirate ship.
More oars than a pirate ship. I don't think pirate. If a pirate ship is using oars, stuff has gone south.
Do you mean Viking ships? They lost.
Like maybe Viking ships. Don't they have like slaves downstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure pirate ships had oars too in case just
Yeah, that's what I mean. Stuff went south.
Or they have to catch up and watch them. 5, 6, 7. Yeah,
It's true. We'll have to just get a couple of outboards. Evan Rood, high-end diesel or something.
We're in Somalia now.
That's true. Okay, so how do we pull this off? We're walking through our string. Who got this working? Okay, half-ish. How many people read it in one character at a time versus read it in one string at a time? I think you almost had to do it one character at a time, unless you went back and did another pass. Do you have a question?
What do you mean one string?
Well, I use this buffer reader thing here to read in one string from the file at a time. You were allowed to use this, but you couldn't use string tokenizer. So I was asking, did you read it in one string at a time from the file? Or did you read it in one character at a time like we did originally and just deal with it building up tokens? Go ahead.
I basically just wrote my own string tokenizer.
Okay. Well, that's essentially what I'm asking you to do. Okay? So how did you write that string tokenizer? You processed one line at a time? Okay. So you wrote a tool that took in a single string. And that single string tokenized it on this stuff and returned, what, like an array?
Yeah, array list.
Okay. It didn't really matter whether it's an array or a linked list. Maybe you could just pass the linked list around and keep adding to it. Okay, well, let's start with that. Okay, so we're going to write a little method here. This guy's going to, we'll have him return something here. We'll just set it as void right now. Are we talking about class stuff?
Yeah.
Or do we have a quiz?
No, I was talking to you. Yeah.
No, you were talking to them. Was he really?
We were all trying to talk to you and you're ignoring it.
All right, take out a piece.
What class did I last
I pull out a 56-degree wedge and set up a cactus. Okay, you got to hit Skippy in the face. You hit Skippy in the face, you pass. If you don't,
I think I could actually. Okay, he's in here at least.
All right, so shut up. So we're going to write a little method here called Tokenized String. And this guy's going to take just a string as a parameter. And we're going to tokenize that string on this crap. And why don't we have this guy return a linked list. Actually, we don't even need to return a linked list. Don't we already have a linked list up top called the tokens? Well, yeah, token stream. Those are our tokens. So we'll just fill up token stream. I think we initialized it in our constructor. Yep. So we'll have this guy just fill up token stream. So that means he will return void. Okay. So now I have a string. What do I do with this string? This string contains, well, I guess it potentially could contain 0 tokens. So this string contains 0 or more tokens. What am I going to do with it? Okay, I could trim it to get all the spaces off the end, right? Okay, so why don't we say S is equal to S dot trim. Then maybe ask if we're looking at nothing. If S dot length is equal to 0, then just return. In case you haven't seen this, have any of you ever used the return statement that way?
Yeah.
Another little tool to put in your toolbox. What does return do? Return makes a method immediately end. Well, this method doesn't return anything. It returns void. That's why I didn't say it to return anything. I just said return stops it. Makes the method end. Okay, so if the length is 0 after trimming, that means I have nothing to tokenize return. Let's not add crap to our linked list or anything. Okay, now remember, we're adding stuff to our token stream linked list, which is a pointer. So we don't need to return it here. We're just adding stuff to this guy. Okay, so if it's not empty, that means I have at least one token. Correct? So we'll go into the else. At least one token. So now we need to start capturing our first token. Possibly our only token. Okay, so what am I going to do?
Read in the first character, see if it's one of our special characters.
Yeah, special.
Okay, so I want to loop through my string. One character at a time?
Yes.
Okay, so go back to a problem solving pattern for int I is equal to 0. I is less than s dot length, I plus plus. So that loop will take I on a journey through all the indices in S, correct? Okay, and what do I want to do each time?
Check to see if it's the special case.
Okay, how do I do that? That's this string, right? Is that all of them?
Yeah, it's all the ones we decided to do.
Like that? Okay. How do I say, is the current character I'm looking at one of those?
Can't we do the for loop and take I colon special characters?
Yeah, like
Or did I say it?
I think you said it right.
What do you want to do?
The for loop where you have like for
Goes
all
through the string
like
automatically.
objects in this array.
Oh, okay.
Whatever it's called. I think you do it for string. Yeah, we can do it.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you want to use the index of method, right?
That's what
I'm glad somebody actually said it before I made fun of you. Index of is a string method, right? Remember when we actually incorporate that into the 250 and 300 class? We used it often, right? So this is a perfect position for index of. What are we going to say? We're going to say if special chars dot index of what char? S dot char at I. If that guy is what? Do I want to say if it's found or not found? If I don't find it in my special characters, what am I doing with it? So if it's equal to -1, meaning I did not find this character in special chars. Index of returns a -1 if the character you're looking for was not found. Or it returns the index if it was. So if it returns a -1, this means the current char was not in special chars. Make sense? Okay. So you say I want to tack it onto the current token. So I need to create a string for my current token. Start off as the empty string. So we'll say current token plus equals s dot char at I. Oh, it's called cur token. I literally just created it and then all right. So if it's not found as one of my special symbols, tack it onto cur token. What if it is found?
send her token up to length.
So token, was it called token stream? This dot token stream dot add cur token. So we did that. Then what do we do? Go ahead. Okay. Cur token is equal to the empty string, so we can start building our next token, right? Okay. Okay. And then at the end, do I need to do anything, or is the linked list just in the right condition? I think it's just in the right condition. So come back down to process statement. Get rid of our string tokenizer. For each line we read in, what are we going to do? We'll say this dot tokenized string, passing it line, and then read in the next line. And then what are we going to do? We're going, do I do it out here? I think I do it in here. So we'll go ahead and print out all of our tokens in our token stream afterwards to see how accurate we did. So for string s in this dot token stream, system.out.println s. Okay, and we should just be calling process statement out. Here we are. Okay, so I'll read in our source code. We'll call process statement. Process statement's going to go through. It's going to call our tokenized string method over and over and over again until we've run out of strings. What does this guy do? He just adds crap into our linked list up top. So then after this loop is done, which means we've read in all the strings from our source file, we'll go ahead and print out all the tokens we captured in our token stream. What are we missing? So don't add an empty string. Yeah, we're getting there. You're right. You're 9 seconds ahead of me. You can count slow. So before we add it, we need to say if cur token dot, we'll just say trim dot length is not equal to 0. Then we'll store cur token dot trim, just in case there's an extra space in there or something. But that's only if it's not equal to 0. We won't store any empty strings or just white space strings. Run this again. Okay, looking decent. Okay, now we have an issue. As Joey pointed out, and I got there when you got to 8. Joey, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Okay. We're supposed to capture the tokens as well. I'm sorry, the delimiters as well. So how do we do that?
Just no way.
So I'm back into my, was it tokenized string? If I'm in this else, that means that I just read in a character that is part of my special characters, correct? What do I do with those delimiters?
What are we currently doing with them? Or what
No, well, I'm currently doing nothing with them. That's clearly what we're doing right now. We're currently doing nothing with them. We'd like to do something with them if we want to also capture our delimiters as tokens, correct? Okay, now, we have some issues. Part of this issue is I am looking to capture something like, well, actually, I guess we dealt with all individual tokens, right? But ultimately, we want this to work for capturing less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. We want to capture that as a single token. That makes sense? But for right now, let's just make it work for the individual guys. So does that mean that if we found something, that means only one character is the token? So that means we do what? We found a delimiter. we want to make a token out of that, correct? And add it to our linked list. Do we add it before the current token or after the current token? After, because we found it after we were building up the current token. So if I'm in here, I'll add this, plus I'll say this dot token stream dot add empty string concatenated with s dot char at I. So that should add in the string version of the token that was our delimiter. I'm also doing spaces. How do I make sure we don't do spaces? Well, suppose you can do that, but you still need to make sure you capture the token. So we really just need to do a special case here that says don't add it if it's a space. So if s dot char at I is not equal to a space, then we'll add it. We don't want to capture spaces as tokens, right? Okay.
Why is it the single quotes again?
Because it's a char. Yeah, s.char at I will be a char. I'm comparing whether or not that char is equivalent to the char space. All right. So, is this the output for the homework assignment?
Looks like it's not one mine was.
Well, did you get yours working?
I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. Well, what I did is like I just printed off if it was not equal to the special characters, I had it print. And if it was,
I created an array filled with profanity. And I went through and I randomly selected an index within that array.
No.
And then I used concatenation. And I randomly selected one of our delimiters to put between the profane words.
That sounds like a good app to me.
And that was my output.
Google Play Store. No, but what I did is I printed everything until it came to a special character, then it print linded, and I went on to the next line. So it just print out.
Okay, so you didn't capture it, you just displayed.
Yeah. And then I got rid of all the white space too.
Okay.
But it, like on each line, it showed the whole one token.
Okay. So let's say that's fine. As this stands right now, this would have been the solution to your homework, right? So just write this little method. So just write this little method here that does the magic. So how many of you got this working? Actually, this is where they're at. How many of you tried but didn't get it working? How much time, Skippy?
Like an hour.
Did you write that in your self-assessment? I spent an hour for this?
My computer died.
Oh, you just worked on this today?
Yeah.
And then your computer died?
Yeah. It's
Well,
dead right now.
I'd like to say it serves them right, but I kind of feel bad for you. It kind of sucks. But it does serve you right. You shouldn't have procrastinated.
That's what I always tell them.
Okay. So in any case, this would have been an acceptable solution. Now, the reality is that we really need this to work for things like less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, greater than, less than, equal to, not equal to, not.
Every key in the keyboard, every combination.
I have, and then also the single equal sign. The assignment operator.
What?
Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, the way we did is when we made it through an object class, which would double check to see if the next one was also
one of our delimiters. So if it was like one next to each other, which would take care of the greater than or equal to.
Okay, kind of like a look ahead.
Right.
Okay, I actually like that. But I'm not going to do it inside of an object. We're just going to modify our code right here to work. So right here, where we're capturing that next token, before we just add it, we need to build up that token, right? So why don't we create a string delim token and set this guy equal to the empty string concatenated with s.char at I. Okay. Now we want to look at the next token. Correct? Now, we actually want to keep looking at tokens until we run into something, just in case we have a 3-digit operator potentially. I don't think we...
Like a 4, because like space being a delimiter.
Right, but this handles space because we're only even doing this. We're not looking at the empty space.
So what do you do for triple equal sign stuff you're saying? You said ours called
right.
person. But if 2 is going to be our maximum, we already know that the first one. We just have to see if that second one is or not.
The question is, are there any operators that take up 3?
I don't know if you have to like triple in Java or anything. Like triple equal or not equal equal. Stuff like that. Because it's like PHP and stuff.
Am I understanding?
Well, I'm looking for...
Which operator takes 3 arguments?
No, not takes 3 arguments, but which operator is 3 characters long? Are there any?
If you're overloading like the function braces, then it's gonna need an extra space, but that would be close to like. So like if it's parentheses within parentheses within parentheses, to do it 3.
Okay, I think I want to write this generically anyway, so it would work if we decided to include multi-digit things. Remember, at this point, we're capturing tokens, not necessarily, I mean, there could be syntax errors. Somebody could put 4 equal signs in a row. We'll capture that as a 4 equal sign token, and then we'll yell at them later.
There's one that's 3 that I see.
But we don't have to worry about that. I want to write this generically. Okay? So what we're going to do is if we are inside of this if statement right here, I'm going to start off our delim token. Now, we want to go from this point right here, potentially to the end of the string. Correct? So we're going to start a for int j is equal to I. Actually, we're going to say I plus 1. We want to start 1 bucket later. Correct? Keep going as long as j is less than s dot length. Increment j each time. So this loop potentially spins from the current bucket all the way up to the end of this string. Potentially. We're going to break out of this loop more than likely way before that. Each time through, we want to ask the question, if special chars dot index of s dot char at j is not equal to -1, which means we found another delimiter next to the previous one. That's what that says, right? So if we found another one, what are we going to do? We're going to say delim token plus equals s dot char at j. Now, if we did that, we also need to increment I. So we're artificially scooting our outer for loop forward one. Okay? Since we've passed up an extra integer here, we need to scoot forward. Okay, so we'll increment I. And we'll do that as many times as necessary. Else, break. What does the break keyword do? No, return stops. Yeah, break breaks you out of the most local for loop. So that'll get us out of that for loop. And then what will we do? We're going to not add this guy. Instead, we're going to add delim token. Now, just for the sake of argument here, let's make sure that we actually have an example in our code. Yeah, here's some greater than or equal tos, single equal signs.
We have some bracket space greater than right after the A, that right where your mouse is. Oh, no, it's not like a mouse. But
What?
see where A bucket I is less than B?
Yep.
I just let mine go, and it's taking in that bracket, the space, and the less than sign.
Okay, I don't think mine will. Let's find out. I did. It did. I, semicolon, J. Let's make sure it at least did our less than or equal to. Wasn't there a less than or equal to somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Did I miss it, or did it just not work?
I know they just not that good. If I is greater than or equal to J, where's that one? That's equal to break.
Okay, here's break.
It's just not there. So between the I and the J, it's supposed to be.
So what you're saying is my code potentially skips large swaths of code. Is that what you're saying? Well, I guess let's look at this. Tokenized string. So let's toggle on a breakpoint right here. So we'll look at the debugger. So I right click out here. This will give us good debugger practice. We put a breakpoint right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, which one does it? This one? Okay, so I'm going to run this guy in the debugger. Why is that? Where's my?
I think it went down to the first thing.
Well, I see that, but where's my step over stuff? They're not. It's not on.
It's not that hard.
Okay, yeah, I still had to run it. All right, so here is my current version of S. So we have some \t, int I, blah blah blah. So here's our. This is what this guy looks like currently. Oh, what's this ID 23? Oh, that's for S. That's unrelated. That's what this is. Okay, so I'm going to step through this guy. So I'm going to step one line at a time. So it says that's F6. I don't know if I can actually hit F6 on mine. There we go. Length equals 0. Nope. We're checking for special characters. Current token. All right, I is 0. Current token is W. Now it's WH. WHIL. Okay, then we hit the space. If it is not equal to a space, which it was, which is going to set cur token equal to the empty string. Move back up. So there's cur token. Right in the opening parenthesis. So we'll add that current token. Oh, actually, that's where we're skipping. We treated the because cur token is currently the open parenthesis. As long as it's not equal to the space. Oh, no, we're okay. As long as it's not equal to the space. So now we're going to back to F6. Nope, wrong one. There we go. Did we never set up Delim token on that?
Didn't pop up.
So there's our true. Okay, now we're back to the empty string. Next we should get is the closing parenthesis. There's our closing parenthesis. And we're going to say does it have a length of 0? It does not, so we'll get inside here. We'll add our cur token. Then, if the current s.charadd is the empty string, which is the space, rather, that's what we hit, is the space. So it is the space, we'll skip past it. We won't add the delimiter in that case, okay? Oh, so that is the issue. In that case, when we're capturing delimiters as tokens, we're not actually checking to see if there's more of them. We need to make tokens a special case as well. Is this how I toggle? No? Yay? Nay? Stop. Java. All right. So it's right here. As soon as we hit a special character, see, we read in well, actually, hold on. Parentheses aren't special characters in ours. Why not? Well, yeah, either are curly braces. Let's add a couple of things to our list here. Let's try running this again real quick. Okay, this is actually good because we still have the same problem, but at least we're capturing more things. So now let's go back into debug mode. And we'll run this. Did I run it? All right, there we go. It just keeps crashing. All right, while true, we're building up our W. So we're interested in what happens when you hit that opening parenthesis.
Don't we have a space
Well, we do. So we just hit the space. That's why we are here. So then what are we going to do? We're going to add the current token. So we just added while, the trimmed version of while, into our loop, or into our token stream. Then, if we're not looking at a space, which we are, so we will not get into this if. We'll skip over it. Set cur token. So we didn't add the space as a token. Good. Spin back up. Read in the next character. Next character was a oh, here's the problem. If current token is the empty string, we need to look at the current char to see if that is a, because in this case, s.char add I is opening parenthesis. But we didn't capture it inside of our token. So that means when we come back out here, when I'm right here, this is asking two separate questions. It's asking, did I just read in an empty token? Okay, that's one question it's asking. The other question is asking, is the current character I'm looking at, is that guy one of my special characters? In this case, cur token is the empty string. So if it's the empty string, we're not going to do any of this stuff, right? And we just go down here and move on. But the reality is we just skipped past our opening parenthesis. Did nothing with it. Because our opening parenthesis is currently at s.char add I. That's where it lives right now. So we really need to ask a couple of questions here. I need to have an else. Make sure that the current char is not one of our special chars. And how do we do that? Well, we ask the question. Nearly the same code as we have here. I'm just going to steal the code for right now since we're basically out of time. Except we won't start at I plus 1, we'll start at I. And then fill up Delim tokens. Does that make sense? So this will handle our special case. We'll come back on Wednesday and finish fixing this part of the code. But this should handle catching those operators that are followed by a space. It's not done yet. Yeah, because right now it's adding extra crap. But we can see it's capturing some of those extra things. Okay, so we just have to add like 2 more lines of code and we'll be done. All right, I'll see everybody on Wednesday.